Welcome to Bucks Weekly, Week 9 of the winter sports season, and we start things off with Covington basketball coach Matt Pond. And the Bucks had a really good week last week with the win over Miami East, and then played a really good first half against Bethel, a very talented Bethel team on Friday. And Matt, let's go back to the Miami East game. I mean, we've had games where we've had slow starts to games and things like that, but we had a really good start against Miami East and probably put together what I thought was our most complete effort.
I would agree. We came out and we shot the ball well. I guess, we got makes. And unfortunately, that's the way the game goes. A lot of times, we say it shouldn't affect your defense, but after a while, if you keep missing, your defense seems to maybe break down. We got makes early. Brad Wiggins and Braden Miller got us off to a really hot start there in the first quarter. I had by far our best first quarter of the season, 22 points. We cooled off a little bit in the second, but we still maintained the lead in the third. And the kids just really did a good job. As you said, probably our most complete game of the season.
And it proved, and hopefully a confidence builder for our kids, because we, up to that point, we've had, I think it was 4 or 5 straight losses, and it proves the kids, they make shots, they can compete and beat anybody.
Right, and like you alluded to, we had a very good first half over at Bethel the other night.
Exactly.
And really our effort for the whole game was very good. As a coaching staff, we were pleased. Unfortunately, we went through a scoring drought again, as we've seen. It's kind of been an Achilles heel for us this year, and that happened in the third a little bit. Friday night over at Bethel.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they had that big kid in the middle, and I noticed especially in the second half, he was able to adjust our shots, especially when he got close within 10 feet of the rim. His height and length really affected a lot of our shots.
Right. He blocked a few shots, but our kids kept taking it at him. And as we talked as a coaching staff, when we go through that, we as a team and as a staff, we have got to find a way to break that drought. We've got to find a way to get an easy bucket or to get to the free throw line, so to stop the bleeding, so to speak, a little bit. To our kids' credit, they continued to battle throughout that game. Bethel built a pretty good lead, but I was very pleased with our overall effort. We talked after the Miami East game. We said we're not going to talk about what we haven't done. We're going to build on what we're going to do. And really, these last 2 games, our kids have really came out and played pretty well.
And what you did talk about, talking about what you're going to do and what you have done positively, you've had, it hasn't been just one player score points. It's been multiple players. I mean, against Miami East, we had 3 kids in double figures.
Yep.
And it seems like when we have that, our chances of winning really increase.
Definitely. Yeah, when you don't have to rely on one kid to score and you're sharing the basketball. I think we had a season high in assists. Don't quote me on that. But really shared the basketball. We rebounded as well as we've done in quite a while. And we made free throws down the stretch to keep them at bay. And our kids just stepped up and made plays, and it was good to see them rewarded.
Okay, and then this Friday, we host Ansonia, another league opponent, and then Saturday we travel up to McLean and play Coldwater.
Right.
Can you talk about the 2 opponents, starting with Ansonia?
Sure. Ansonia, league team, they have everybody back from last year. We played them twice last year, and probably 2 of our better games, and we're able to come away with victories. I'm sure they'll be hungry coming in here again at home at our place. Got Sink and Muir, 2 of the better players in the league. I know they're in the top scorers in the league as far as top 10, but they've got a couple other nice players as well. Right now, like I said, we're just going to have to continue to do what we've been doing, and I think we'll be fine. Coldwater Saturday night, nice long bus trip up there,
and it's always long up 127.
Right. In the past, we've played well up there, and I expect no different. They're having a good year. They have had some close games with teams that we've played, so we think that we'll match up with them pretty well with them as well. I'm sure it'll be physical Saturday night in the MAC, but it's again outside league opponent that we're looking forward to facing.
Okay, well that concludes things with boys basketball, and Coach Matt Pond come out and support the Bucks Friday night at home, and then make the trip up to Coldwater for hopefully what will be a good game. Up next, we will talk to Jim Meyer and the girls basketball team.
Eagles does a lot for this school and this program. We need to give them some thanks. On 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Go Eagles! Yeah! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Thank you, Covington Eagles! Woo! Thank you, Covington Eagles, for all you do for Covington schools. Go Bucks! Woo!
Welcome back to Bucks Weekly, Week 9 of the winter sports season, and I'm here with Covington girls basketball coach Jim Meyer, and they've had a busy couple weeks. You know, we were off last week from Bucks Weekly, but starting off with a great win against rival Newton, probably one of our most complete games of the year, and then we followed up. We had a defeat against Miami East, and then we beat Jackson Center, and then last night had a really big win against Bethel. Let's go back to the Newton game, Coach. What really stood out in that game was our Lady Buck defense was really great.
The kid, you know, first of all, it's Newton, and I think both teams get excited playing each other, and that was the non-league contest. We had won the league contest earlier in the year, but it's still Newton, and you don't have to ever worry about your kids getting excited and getting ready to play. And I think Steve Fisher would say the same thing about his kids. And of course, you know, Newton, their offense revolves around Tatum McBride, and so she's a main stop for us. And Kenzie Long did a tremendous job on her throughout the entire game. I think you told me that when Kenzie left the game in the fourth, Tatum only had 6. And you know, this is a kid who 2 nights ago scored 27, 28 points. So she can put them in a hurry. So that was a great defensive effort, and it was an overall really great team performance for us. Sammy scored, but Lily had 12 points and about 7 blocks, and everybody got involved that day offensively, and of course not only individual defense, but our team defense has really come along as well.
And one thing I do want to mention about that night when we played Newton, and it really shows the type of kids that not only that Covington has, but also Newton has, is, you know, there was the coaches versus cancer Saturday there, and both girls on both teams were adamant about getting a picture together in their coaches versus cancers t-shirts. And, you know, putting a rivalry aside like that and coming together, it really shows the kind of kids we have.
Yeah, you know, our kids like the Newton kids, and I think the Newton kids like our kids, like we like a lot of our opponents. And I thought that was great. That was a really cool picture. Both teams, they had different T-shirts on, so they were all kind of combined together. And you know, when you step on the court, you're mortal enemies for 32 minutes, but afterwards it just shows you the kind of friends these kids are, friendly competitors, and that was a real special moment. Ashley did a real nice job. She raised $4,000 in her efforts, and you know, she does that to honor her dad, Scott Johnson, who's a good friend of mine, and I'm just real happy for her.
Okay, and then the other night we went and traveled over to Miami East, who of course is still undefeated in the league, a really, really good team. But our girls, you know, again, defensive effort on what's arguably one of the top offensive players in the area, the Morgan Haney. Kenzie Long again really had a great game.
Kenzie did a fine job. Again, team-wise, we did a great job. You know, we establish a game plan every game. We go through it. We go over it. We try to run through the things they're going to do, the things that we can get done. And our kids came out and executed the game plan perfectly. And for 3 quarters, it worked perfectly. You know, we took a 4-point lead going into the fourth. And, you know, Miami has got great shooters. And those shooters got loose on us in the fourth. And you look at it, it's a 12-point game, but that game was a lot closer than a 12-point game. And again, I was proud of our overall effort as a team. Even in that loss, we played extremely well.
And then we followed up Saturday. Jackson Center, you know, came to town, and that was one of the most physical games that I can remember in a while. And of course, they come from the Shelby County League, and I think that's the style of basketball that they play up there. But I thought our girls really responded and didn't back down. You know, they didn't bat an eye to the physicality of the game.
Well, we haven't backed down to anyone all year. I thought Jackson Center played the best overall team defense against us as any team has played this year. You know, they've been to state the last 2 years, and they lost a lot of kids, and they're down a little bit record-wise, but they've got Kennedy Reese, who's their
She's
point guard,
really
and
good.
she just was all over Sammy the entire day, held Sammy to 10 points, which may be her season low. And then Olivia Clark, who's a big 6-footer and can step outside and shoot threes, can take the ball to the basket. So those are two kids that lead that team. But again, we were able to shut down key people, able to get a lead, and then kind of nursed it home. So you know, we don't beat Jackson Center very often. So that was a real big win for the kids and for the program.
Well, and you talked about the big girl inside. Our two bigs, Lily Hamilton and Lauren Christian, they really played well in that game to not only keep her from scoring, but then also offensively hitting some big shots.
Well, and you know, I've talked about this before. I've talked to all three of the bigs, to Lauren and Lily and our pseudo-big Tori.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You'll forget about Tori because she's
about being more aggressive offensively. When they can score inside, that opens up the outside for our outside shooters, and they're really taking that to heart. You can just see the transition in all of them, taking opportunities that they're given to get the ball to the basket and get a shot off. So, yeah, they're coming along.
Okay, and then last night against Bethel, a great night. Of course, we'll talk about this in a little bit. Sammy Whiteman breaking the single game scoring record, but first half really wasn't, I would say, going our way. We were down, I believe it was 2 or 3 at halftime, and Jordan Crow, you know, she's been nursing that ankle, but I think she kind of gave us a spark in the second half when she came in.
Well, a lot of things I'd like to say about that game. First of all, Bethel's a very good team. We saw a number of tapes on them, and they scared me to death. And I think the way they played in the second quarter, we got outscored by 10. We had an 8-point lead. We get outscored by 10. Jordan hits a big 3 at the buzzer to take a 5-point lead down to a 2-point lead. And you know, in the locker room, I said, here you are. I told you this team is good. And I challenged him to come out in the second half, and of course, you know, things got rolling, and Sammy got rolling, and we were able to take it out and have a nice win. But you know, a number of things. Morgan Lowe started in place of Jordan. We didn't know Jordan was kind of a, you know, yesterday we kind of went through with the trainer, and we didn't think she was going to play at all. And then we said, okay, we'll let you dress. We're not going to use you if we don't have to. Morgan had a great start, defended Kenna Gray between Morgan and Kenzie. They held Kenna Gray, Bethel's super freshman, to just 3 points. So Morgan gave us a lift there, and then the game got tight, and I thought, okay, we're going to run Jordan. And of course, like you said, Jordan's a senior. She is a typical starter, and when she came in, things stabilized, not only offensively but defensively, but yet, you know, Morgan was able to come back in for Kenzie, got in a little bit of foul trouble. So it was a well-played team game, especially in the second half. The kids responded to my challenge at halftime. As far as Sammy, you know, I jokingly said to the coaches before the game, knowing how good Bethel was, it would be nice to see her go off for 50. So I'm a little disappointed. She only got 41. She let me down.
Yeah.
But you know, and I struggle with this as a coach because we did have a comfortable lead, and subs were beginning to come in, and we knew on the bench she was close. Bethel didn't have any idea, but you know, she was close enough. I wanted to give her that shot, and you know, she took like 25 of them and finally hit the one she needed to hit. I don't think she had any idea she was that close or anything. You know, she's kind of clueless. But yeah, I'm proud of her. I can't tell you, Ben, what an honor it is to be a part of this kid's life. It's an honor to be a part of my team's life, but to be a part of what Sammy's done and what she's going to do, it's just a real honor. She's just a fine young lady.
Well, I know that there was some Bethel people who were kind of upset, you know, after they made an announcement that Sammy broke the record. And like you said, when you were putting in the younger kids, I believe there was 2 minutes to go in the game, and she was 2 points away or something like that. It's not like, you know, the game was so far out of reach. I mean, she got the majority of her points, obviously all but the last 2 points, in the flow of the game. So
well, and I just, you know, as a coach, I typically don't do that because I don't like to have people do that to me, and I try to respect other teams and other coaches and other fans. But again, she was that close, and you don't get that opportunity too many times.
don't.
And she's not that good. So she's kind of good. So we want to have that opportunity. And again, I'm proud of her. I'm glad she was able to hit it, and she's very deserving. And I told her, and she knows this, I told the team, individual achievements are team achievements, so everybody played a part.
Okay, and with the rest of our games this year are at home, which is great. Before the tournament, we get to close out the season here at home. What are you looking from the girls to get, out of these last couple games here to get prepared for the tournament?
Well, number one, I like to get healthy.
Yeah.
We got some kids battling some injuries, some illnesses, and so the Bethel game last night wouldn't have been played. It was a makeup game, so we would have had 3 days to get ready for Trail, who comes in Thursday, and then the following week we only have a Thursday game with North, and then we have a week off or so before the tournament. So our number one priority is to get healthy, and then the number two thing is maybe begin to look at some things that are not typical of us. Having some things prepared for the tournament that other teams haven't seen. That if that time arises, that we might be able to use those to have those ready. So that's what we'll use that time. The main thing is just getting healthy and staying healthy.
Okay, well, that's it with Coach Jim Meyer. Up next, we will talk to the new single game school scoring record leader, Sammy Whiteman, right after this.
Color Green Photo offers a variety of photographic options for high school seniors, weddings, and families. We pride ourselves in providing creative and captivating images that have a special meaning to those we shoot. Please visit colorgreenphoto.com to view samples of our work and contact us at 937-418-0417 to schedule your next photo session.
We're back with Bucks Weekly, Week 9 of the winter sports season with junior Sammy Whiteman, who last night against Bethel set the single game scoring record in school history with 41 points. And Sammy, earlier in the year you got your 1,000th career point, and then of course last night breaking the record. And I know you don't really like talking much about the individual accolades, but it's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it did feel good. My coaches always get me in the gym in the morning on game days, so that always puts more confidence in my shot. And then as the game went and I started scoring more, I just kind of had the confidence to go for it. So.
And you tell deeper in the fourth quarter, the girls, I think your teammates knew where you stood, and it kind of looked to me, I don't know what conversations were taking place on the floor, but I thought I heard one of the other girls say, keep shooting it, or something like that to you.
Yeah, they were actually really encouraging. I felt bad because I was shooting so much, but I mean, everyone was telling me to go for it, so that's what I did.
Okay, so you have a couple more games here left in the regular season, and hopefully a nice tournament run. What do you want to accomplish here the rest of the season, your junior year?
Win sectionals, win districts, win regionals, and then win state.
In that order.
That's right.
Okay. I just had to throw her a curveball, but okay. Well, that's it with junior Sammy Whiteman. Up next, we'll talk to Coach Vanderhorst and get an update on the Covington wrestling team.
Hi, this is Don Solon, pastor at Fields of Grace Worship Center. We are a non-denominational church with a contemporary casual atmosphere. We are a church committed to reaching outside our walls while at the same time caring for those that call Fields of Grace home. Maybe you know Fields of Grace by all our community events. You are always welcome to come on over for a cup of coffee Sunday mornings and check us out at fieldsofgrace.org for service times.
We're back with Bucks Weekly, Week 9 with Covington wrestling coach Eric Vanderhorst, and the Bucks have had a busy last couple of weeks with the OHSA duels over at Versailles, and then also the Lima Central Catholic Invitational this past weekend. And coach, let's go back to the first round of the OHSA duels last week over at Versailles. We wrestled Parkway and Coldwater.
Yeah.
And we were able to come out on top in both of those duels.
Yeah, that was nice. So we had a bye in the first round of the regionals and then faced Parkway in the second round and never see them anywhere. They had a lot of big, strong, athletic kids. We were better at wrestling, fortunately. and came away with a 50-something to 14 win. So that was nice. And then we had Coldwater, and that's always a big battle. And they have a great program. A lot of strategy involved with setting matchups on both teams' parts, but we ended up coming away with a 36-30 win. That was awesome. Kids did a great job. And so that got us into the regional semifinals, where we just faced Versailles tonight and came up on the short end against the Tigers. But I was real proud of the way the kids wrestled tonight. They did a good job.
And going back to the duel against Coldwater, there was some controversy there at 113 pounds, because I remember we had forfeited that weight, and then Coldwater, the referee asked Coldwater, "Do you have a wrestler at 113?" He said no, and everybody in the gym heard it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just said, "Wait, I got a wrestler at 113,
Yeah.
and you were bumping up our 113 to 120." And they went ahead and let their wrestler accept a forfeit, which gave them 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that really could have meant the duel.
Yeah, so the strategy there was, if you can take out one of their good wrestlers with a wrestler that's a little bit better, you could get a big advantage there. So that's what we were trying to do. They have a good 113-pounder who's state ranked, and we wanted Kale to take him on and knock him out, because that gives us bonus points. So we had a feeling they were going to forfeit 113 and have us just go out. Kale would get a forfeit, and they would go against Talon, who has less experience. Russell's hard there, so they were looking for that advantage. We kind of saw that coming, so we forfeited 13 and put Kale at 20, and they weren't ready for that, and they already said they forfeited. At that point, it should have been done, and their 13-pounder should have wrestled Kale at 120, but the referee kind of messed up and let them change it. And fortunately, it didn't cost us the duel, but yeah, it's pretty hot when it happened.
And the reason it didn't cost us the duel was because we had another kid that upset one of their wrestlers. And can you talk about that match?
Yeah, so Austin Flick had an excellent match. You know, he was down, I think tied in the third period and needed an escape, and pulled out an escape and got a 1-point win. 6-point swings, we won by 6 points. So that was huge.
Okay, and then over the weekend we traveled up to the LCC Invitational, and that's always a good invitational for us, because we get to see a lot of the other kids that we might see down the line at districts.
Yeah.
And the kids, we had a couple of kids, I believe it was in the finals, and what was it, 5 kids placed up there?
Yeah. So we brought 10 to the LCC, and it's 44 teams, 44 schools there. So it's a beast of a tournament, long 2-day tournament, Friday and Saturday. Kale ended up getting second. Carrington got 5th. Gage Kerrigan got 5th. Kellen got 8th, and Riley Richards got 7th. And then we had Gavin McReynolds, Trenton Alexander, and Austin Flick that came 1 win away from placing. So the kids did great.
And Carrington Martin, even though he got 5th, I mean, that's a real strong showing for his weight class, because he wrestled a kid that has been over on the podium at Columbus last few years, and it was a really tight match.
Oh yeah, we had a good strategy going into that match. The kid's a 2-time state placer, and we actually were winning at one point. Then it was tied up, and just a little lapse in position, and we went over it in practice. We'll get better to position, better there than come postseason, and ended up losing it by a point. And he was the 1 seed. That would have put us in the finals. So he was that close. Yeah, he wrestled a great tournament.
And then a lot of those kids that are over there at that tournament, those are future opponents, possible future opponents down the line at districts.
Sure. Right? Oh yeah. There's a lot of matchups that are going to be some tight, couple of them will be tight get to district type matches, and for the kids that make it to districts, there's going to be some tight go to state type battles with some of those kids we saw. So it's kind of good to see that level of experience before we hit the district tournament.
And to give people an idea of the level of the competition there, you go at 106 pounds, we got Kellen Anderson, who finished 8th, and he lost by 1 point to the champion.
Right. Yeah.
Who he's also beat before.
Beat in the last meeting. Yeah, that's how tight some of those weight classes are. It's like it's one move here, one position here, and you get the victory. You wrestle again the next weekend, and the results could shuffle quite a bit. So, yeah. Tight margin of error.
Okay, and then tonight we just finished up over at Versailles. We wrestled. Versailles hosted the regional portion of the OHSA duels, and we wrestled Versailles, came up on the short end, but we had some really exciting matches where we came out on top.
Yeah, that was great. You know, we ended up winning 5 matches against them. They got 9 against us. We're real happy with our 5 wins. You know, Kellen started us off with a nice win, got us a pin. He'd beaten that kid before, but that never pinned him. So that was big. Kel got a nice win. We had Carrington, you know, he got a good win.
He bumped up in weight.
He bumped up in weight. Trenton Alexander bumped up in weight. So we were trying to do some matchup stuff. They won the toss, so they were able to step most of the matchups to their favor, which is big. That can be 20 points in a dual meet setting matchups. Mm-hmm. But we got an advantage in some cases where we could set a couple things. We bumped Gage Kerrigan up. He got a nice win for us as well.
And he got a pin too.
And he got a pin as well. Yep, battled through. So we got some good bonus, and you know, we lost a lot of tight ones. You know, Austin Flick was in a battle, 1 point lost. Riley Richards was in a battle, tight match. We
that
just
was
had
2 point.
Yeah,
2 point match.
yeah. So we just had a lot of tight matches. You can see the duel took forever, right? They were all 6-minute matches, went forever. You know, Miami East and Indian Lake were down like an hour before us, and we're still going because they were just battles. And, you know, that's fun. You know, that's 2 teams grinding it out like that.
Okay, and we have some good tournaments coming up, and we've had an adjustment in the schedule. Can you talk about upcoming duel that has been added to the schedule?
Yeah, so first, this Saturday, we have Sydney and Eaton. So Sydney was a little banged up. They would have forfeited a few, so we'd have been able to beat them with the forfeits. So we want to get our kids matches. So I said, heal up, get your kids back. We'll duel you later when you're at full strength. So they're going to add to our tri-meet on Saturday with Eaton. So two great wrestling programs. We get to see them. And we picked up Brookville. So we got Brookville the following Wednesday. And then we host the Covington Duels Saturday, February 10th. And then we got a 2-week break before sectionals. So we might sneak a scrimmage in there with another school. But yeah, it's approaching the postseason.
Okay. Well, that concludes this week with Coach Eric Vanderhorst come out and support the Bucks this weekend against Sydney, and then the rest of the regular season. And then, of course, we get to host the sectionals this year, which is awesome. The sectionals come back to Covington, which is always exciting. Up next, we have a special guest, the champion defended his title this past weekend, Scooby Willoughby.
Hello, my name is Ron Sutherland, President of Covington Savings and Loan. We have been a part of the Covington and the surrounding community since 1886. We have been serving both savings and loan customers and help promoting home ownership. Stop by and talk with Jason for your lending needs, or see Diane in Brooklyn for all your savings needs. Thank you for your continued support to help Covington Savings and Loan continue to support the Covington community.
FDIC approved. This is Andy Johnson of Bucks Radio, the voice of Covington Buccaneers. Here to encourage Buccaneer fans to support local businesses. Your patronage of local businesses goes a long way in allowing them to continue to support Covington schools and Covington athletics.
We're back with Bucks Weekly, Week 9, with a special guest, Dennis Scubinator Willoughby, the champion. The Bucks #1 fan defended his title Sunday night. Laid the smackdown on Glenn Hollipeter. Scooby, can you talk about that match with Hollipeter?
Yeah, Hollipeter. I just smacked down on you last night. You know I'm #1 fan.
Okay, you had your partner was Big Jim Hutchinson. He helped you out there a lot, didn't he?
Yeah, he helped me. He helped me a lot, and thank you both to do that for me. And, you know I'm #1 fan. You do that.
Okay, and you had Benny Wolf in your corner. Did Benny Wolf help you out?
Benny Wolf helped me out. Thank you, Ben. And I love you, bud. And I'll be proud to be Bucks #1 fan. You know I'm a Bucks #1 fan. All the time.
Okay, so what was the what was the finishing move you used on Glenn last night? What did you call that?
I heard
Slacker Smacker?
And Slacker Smacker and pop me bad band. Oh yeah, boy. So I did it.
Okay, Scooby, so now that you're the champ once and for all, no more doubts. You're the Bucks #1 fan. Nobody else can say that you're not. Last night was your last match. You retired?
I'm retired. I'm done with you. You know You know our number one fan is, and me, Scooby. So I did it. So, just a last match for you. You know, I know, number one fan all the time. And Grant, you know, I'm sorry that I haven't. I have to. Do a smackdown on you.
Good job, Scooby. Well, for Ben Robinson and the champion, Dennis Scooby Willoughby, good night. And you're supposed to say something, Scooby. Go Bucks, right?
Yeah, go Bucks.
Number one,
Our
Scooby.
number one fan, we eat, babe.
Woo!